Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Play 4 in Sports Events Management. I hope you all are having a great start to your week and are enjoying the course so far. Just want to point out really quick before we dive into our discussion that I am the same person. I've decided to trim up the beard and the hair, but I am the same guy. So please thank you for tolerating my end of summer look. I very much appreciate that. A couple of housekeeping items to point out really quick. An overwhelming vast majority of you are doing a great job at turning in your coursework on time. Remember, everything is due Sunday evenings at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your discussion, your homework, and your quizzes. That will not change throughout the semester. If you have any barriers, I understand life happens, just please reach out to me beforehand. We run into a little bit of challenges when it's after the due date or I reach out to you and, hey, sorry, Professor Wilson, I forgot. But if you reach out to me beforehand, I'm more than happy to grant an extension or a makeup assignment or things like that. So just please keep that communication open, but I do expect you all to turn in your coursework by 11:59 p.m. on Sundays. So if you have any trouble with that, just please reach out to me. Very much appreciated. So as we look at Play 4, we are going to talk about sports event facilities and also what the facilities expect out of sports events. It is a critical chapter in this course, and it is something you will need to pay very close attention to because your final exam, which is a project, will use a lot of concepts from this chapter. So there is a term I want you all to become familiar with. It is called RFP, or Request for Proposal. So requesting a formal proposal from an event or an event space. It can go both ways. And one of your homework questions this week will deal with that. So please make sure that we are giving this chapter the credit it deserves because it will come in handy in the future. So when we talk about sports event management, we just had the Summer Olympics end, which was in Paris, and actually many of the Olympic events took place outside of Paris. Some on the other side of the world. The surfing events were in the South Pacific, but Paris, for the most part, was the host city. And Paris is an international global city, one of the biggest cities in the world. So that's one spectrum of sports event management. But on the other end, you have local parks, churches, places of worship, schools. You may have a softball game down at the local park and recreation field. So that's the other end. So when we talk about these events, we don't necessarily, even though we like the big events and the sold out arenas and the stadiums and, Purdue football, basketball, baseball, all of those things, sometimes we are just talking about our local rec center and things like that. So keep that in mind as we navigate the course. Not only are we talking about big, huge mega events, but we are also talking about smaller events, school events, rec leagues, and things like that. A little bit later on in the chapter, we will drill down a little bit deeper in some of these facilities. I have a very large passion for events and facilities that host things like sensory nights. ADA accessibility is a huge one. We want to make sure that we're having not only diverse events, but also allowing space for everyone to enjoy the event. And that may, that may include someone with sensory issues or some sort of, accessibility that needs some extra attention. So we will get further into those subjects in the course in some discussion. We will talk about, taxpayers, and what should be the proper regulation for those. So if any of those come up during your readings or your homework answers, please keep in mind that you bring those things to the table, bring those ideas to the table, but we will drill down a little bit deeper in the future with those subjects as well. So when we are talking about requesting for a proposal, if I want to hold, a local rec league hockey game, I can submit proposals in our area to local ice rinks and all the way up to a professional ice rink if I wanted to, if I had the money to pay for it or the sponsors to pay for it, as we learned in the previous chapter. It's a good idea to find some money out there to help purchase these things, whether it's renting the building. I don't think we want to talk about building our own facility just yet. That's a separate class. But I can request a formal proposal to rent the building for the tournament, or I can shop around to find the best price to see which facility may meet my needs. So when you were looking at the homework for this section, I believe you're doing questions 1, 2, and 5. And I really want you to pay close attention in question 1, making sure that we are dealing with the request for proposal and how it impacts both the organizers and the facility. And then in question 5, we are dealing with competing sponsors. That is something that happens a whole lot. So if you think nowadays in our polarized climate, especially here in the United States, if we have a commitment with one sponsor and they want their name on everything, or if we have competing sponsors, or quite frankly, if somebody's sponsoring an event that might not line up with people's beliefs or ideas or values, those are always tricky situations that you have to navigate. So 1, 2, and 5 are excellent questions for this module, and the last one, or maybe the middle question, has to deal with if we are moving some events around. It's winter. We're looking for some alternative places to host events. So be creative. This is one of those questions I told you at the beginning of the semester. There's really not a right or wrong answer. Now, if you submit your homework and tell me that you want to host a football game in your backyard, that might not work. But there are plenty of alternate venues, places to where if weather is not cooperating, or if somewhere is sold out or not available, there are lots of places around big towns and small towns that you could host events. So be creative. And again, there's no right or wrong answer for that question of finding alternative event spaces. So please read the chapters and participate in the discussion, but I really look forward to reading some of these homework assignments, because again, these are 3 questions where there's really no right or wrong answers. It is very subjective, but I do want to make sure that you are grasping the concept. So, give me a little bit more than 1 or 2 sentences to make sure that you and I are on the same page and you're making your point, but I really look forward to reading them. Last but not least, last week I did promise an extra credit assignment. That's going to be this week. So I will submit via announcement an extra credit assignment for those of you that may want some extra points, or those of you who feel they may need some extra points. The extra credit assignment will revolve around a town that's very close to all of us in one way or the other, and that's Indianapolis. As I told you in my intro, I consider the WWE sports entertainment. I know it's sports entertainment. I know it's scripted entertainment, but I consider it sports, and for the purposes of this class. And Indianapolis announced that they will be holding 3 of WWE's biggest events next year: the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam, all at Lucas Oil Stadium, which are huge, huge events. So I will be sending out an extra credit assignment for you to do a little bit of research, a little internet research, to find out why you think they did this, why it was a good idea, who may have been behind it. They have a really big star from Indianapolis that kind of runs a lot of media for the company. So I'm very interested to hear some of your thoughts. So I will post that via assignment, tell you what the assignment is, to give me a couple hundred words, and I'll give the guidelines when I send that out, and how many extra credit points it will be worth. And then you can email me that assignment and have that on hand for some extra points. Some of you have scored perfect in the course so far, and we can apply those points to either your midterm or your final, all up to you. So I just want to give you the opportunity to do some extra work in the course that is sports event management related, but also is outside the textbook, which I know sometimes can get a little dry, especially in an online class where we follow the same cadence each week. So I want you to all to know, for the most part, you're doing an excellent job in the course. A lot of you are reaching out with questions on the side, and we are navigating these assignments together and working through them. Please do not hesitate to ask questions. As I mentioned the last time, if it's Sunday evening at 10 o'clock, I may not be available, but I do try to answer all emails within 24 hours. So I hope you enjoy this week. If you need anything, please reach out to me, and keep your eyes open for that extra credit assignment. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.